Hello, sweet souls. This is DTO in the Flow, and I am grateful to share with you today that I get to interview Tracy Shearer, and we've been connected for multiple years, and she has been taking phenomenal steps, leaps and bounds into being a big influence in the world with health, wellness, nutrition. She has her 200 hours as a registered yoga instructor, and she's board certified as a holistic health practitioner. And she's also into wellness and nutritional coaching. And she inspires people to eat properly, to have healthy eating habits and wellness, and to get into their bodies to practice fitness because it's important to feel sexy, fit, and fabulous. Without further ado, I will bring on Tracy, and I can't wait to get started with this amazing interview. Hi, Tracy.
Hello,
How
hi
are ya?
Dave. I am fantastic. Namaste to you, my friend.
Namaste. So wonderful to have you here. So before we start off, let's talk about the origin story of how you and I connected within the global connectivity called the internet, Facebook, plant powered living, uh, you know, all of these amazing ways that we've been able to share who we are in the world. And I have this clear experience of the universe that we magnetically attract one another. And your blog, which I remember reading years ago, Yoga Girl Goes Vegan, that's where a lot of it started because of the plant powered living and all of the delicious, nutritious foods that we get to eat. So, yeah, why don't you share with everyone how we connected?
Thank you so much, Dave. I started my own personal journey of losing weight, trying to become more healthy, focusing on my health. And to start accountability, I decided to start blogging my experience to share with others. And it grew into what became Yoga Girl Goes Vegan. And through that, started putting it out on social media. You saw it and you graciously reached out to me and asked me to write an article as a contributor to your plant powered living. And then from that, we just connected, and I enjoyed doing the smoothie challenges for the children. And we have
Yes.
just been friends for so many years. And I think it's almost 10 years now, Dave, that we've known each other. And then being graced with your beautiful music and being able to just feel those harmonies within my own personal practice, and now happy that I've gone the next step to be able to use your music in the courses and classes that I have. It's just been what I would consider a blessing.
Oh, thank you so much, Tracy. And here's the original blog, Yoga Girl Goes
Yes,
Vegan. I love that. It's so wonderful that
yes.
that's still there. And then, of course, you have your new website, flourishwithtracy.com. And that's been really exciting to see all the offerings you have and all the wonderful ways that you get to share who you are in the world and how you get to coach. And it's one thing to be a student, of, as we know, we're always the student within and the teacher within, and then to also be able to share your light in the world as an instructor. So let's kick off the 5Q interview. Can't wait. Drum roll. All right. Question number one, Tracy. So, what is your journey with yoga?
It all started when, as I had mentioned, I was diseased and not feeling well. And during that time, I started my road to recovery, and I started just watching television, trying to look for some online videos, and I started stretching. Stretching then led me to yoga, and I realized it was a whole different world than just stretching, and that it incorporated everything that I was searching for and looking for. And my path to journey led me to what I'm doing today. As I got deeper into the different modalities within yoga, I then learned the practice of ahimsa and nonviolence and compassion. And that then led me to becoming vegan and 100% plant based. And it just literally has changed my life. So everything that I am grateful for and gracious for today is all coming from the beginning of the practice of yoga. And then I went back to school and got my 200 hours. And I'm just so grateful to now be able to share and hopefully help provide that same experience to someone else who is new on their path and their journey with yoga. I can't hear you.
It's all
Oh,
connected with ahimsa, and I'm
it
grateful you made
is.
those dots connect because, and anyone out there that doesn't know what ahimsa is, it's practicing peace and love and connection to other beings. May all beings be happy and free. Some people would
Correct.
say nonviolence, and it's more about what you're choosing than what you're not choosing. And
Correct.
so for me, it's how can you thrive and bring vitality and life to your prana, your life force energy for your chi. And as we know, we're alive and we're here and we get to replenish our system with the proper nutrition. So it makes sense that our journeys of being plant powered, plant based, and Yoga Girl goes vegan, all of that combines into this beautiful pathway that is over 5,000 years old called yoga. And by the way,
Absolutely.
anyone that's watching right now, the chat room is open. So if you have any comments or questions, and if anything, if you want to let us know where you're located, it's always fun to know where people are. I was on a call earlier today with people from South Africa. Someone was from Denmark. Someone was from, oh my gosh, all over. It's pretty cool. So then we're also live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And I know that, Tracy, you are out there in the world on multiple channels as well. And as I invite anyone that's watching, comment, ask a question, and share. And this is what the global community is all about. Whether you're on the pathway of being vegan or plant-based or being a yoga instructor or yogi, yogini, or if you're yoga curious and you're like, hey, what's this yoga stuff? I keep on hearing more about it. And then people write music for yoga and then people practice with a playlist and do all of that. So there's all these interconnections. Sometimes I'll meet musicians, Tracy, and they'll say, wait, so you write music, soundtrack music for yoga? People are like, I didn't know that happened. So that's what's wonderful about your passion for wellness. And I do want to show your website right away here because it shows the interconnectedness of how you get to coach and share the breakthroughs that you've had with holistic health and wellness. And then you get to establish and nourish and replenish and pass along those techniques. And so that's where the website is, flourishwithtracy.com. Make sure everyone knows that right away. And so let's jump into question number 2. So after you had your journey with yoga, you got lit up with it, obviously. So what inspired you to become an instructor?
It felt so good. When something's good, you should want to share it. I want to share with everyone else. And a lot of times people, they think that they need to, I'm going to make a joke here. They think they want yoga means you have to bend into a pretzel.
Yeah.
And they think that they can't do that. And as an instructor, you can show people that no, it's about being present and being accepting of who you are. And there's different ways that you can still express that presence without being a pretzel and being able to provide that platform where people feel welcome is my goal. So that's what made me want to become an instructor too. Be the change that I embody and that I would like everyone else to be able to embrace for themselves.
I love that. Be that ripple effect and pay it forward. And
Yes, yes,
sharing is caring. And what this shows to me is that you're not stingy. You're not going to get some universal like aha moment, this gift, and be like, it's all mine. You're going to say, wow, how can I create? How can other human beings flourish? And that's why flourishwithtracy.com has been a pathway for people to go and to discover who you are and what creates that vitality and that energy. And I feel that a lot of us, we need our batteries recharged, and some people don't know how to do it naturally and holistically. And that's what's really beautiful about your instruction is not only do you get to teach people yoga, but then you have all of these other skill sets in your life's journey that you get to pass along. I love that. Okay, so
yes.
question 3. So if I were to take a yoga class from you, or what are some things that typical students share with you that are in yoga? And so what makes your classes unique?
That it's meditative. I always, always, always incorporate mindfulness and meditation in the class. And I do incorporate the music because I want people to focus on their inner vibration and they're calming down more so than the actual poses because that's what I think in the Western world we've kind of gotten away from it. We are looking at it more from, in my opinion, a perspective of exercise as opposed to the wholeness of what yoga can provide. So that's what I like to consider unique, that I'm incorporating a little bit of the mindfulness, the meditative aspects, and a little bit of breath before we even get into the actual asanas and the poses.
Mm, I love that. Yeah, and anyone out there that practices yoga knows that before you get to a yoga experience, you were probably going through your to-do list, you're probably maybe driving a car, maybe had a
Mm-hmm.
conversation, doing work, doing whatever. And so that first step, the integration series, is all about bridging that pathway. So I love, Tracy, that you add the breath work, the meditation. It's like, welcome to your body, your temple. You're here, you're
Mm-hmm.
alive, you're present. Be grateful. Deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Yes. So wonderful. Radical presence, however we can keep it, is the best part. And when we forget, sometimes we have to remember, and then we remember again, and then we forget. And that's the interesting part of life. And I feel like yoga grounds us in that.
It
All
does.
right. Question number 4. You mentioned this earlier. So, how do you integrate music into your yoga practice?
I play the music throughout the entire session. So the minute the student enters the space, it's a trigger and a signal that it's time to, as you mentioned, let everything else go. It will be there when practice is over, but you leave it there and you just be present. So it's a trigger. The other part of integrating the music is the vibration portion. There is a healing element to the vibrations. That's where chants come from. And when you chant, there's specific syllables. And I feel like I'm preaching to you. You already know this, but there's
Mm-hmm.
certain harmonies or certain sounds that you use. And as you do that, it goes through your body and that begins the healing process. So by playing music that complements that, you trigger the benefit that you're going to get out of the actual practice.
I love that. Yes. And when everything's energy, everything's vibration, and I feel that when you're setting the stage already for individuals to be able to drop whatever stress and all of it that we, it's almost like it cakes on us, and somehow it's just like wipe off that mud and get rid of it, because from the mud comes the lotus flower, so we can transform and shift our energy at any moment. And I feel like music is that pathway, that portal, that is almost like a time machine sometimes, I feel, when I'm
It
creating music,
is, it
right?
is, it is. And ooh, I can keep going about it, but it is really, I think it's key to me. It just, it connects all the energy centers. It just, it wakes you up. And I just, I feel it's a key piece in the practice.
Yes. And what I love for me personally is when there's sounds of nature, like when you're outside, and we were talking about this before we went live, is just being in nature is like the beginning of music herself. And then
It
those
is.
sounds emerge, and then you bring in a violin, a cello, a piano, some ambient sounds, and it can really start connecting us to those energy centers, those 7 chakras, to
It
awaken.
is. And it also then gets chemical as well. If you think about your endorphins and all of those chemicals that make you feel good and make you feel happy, the harmonies and the vibrations as you tap into those energy centers triggers those chemical reactions within your brain. And that also helps you as you
I love that.
associate.
So wonderful. All right, question number 5. how can we find you online? And if you could share, like, what's your offer right now? What kind of offerings do you have? I know people can book a call for a free consultation and any events that you have coming up. So feel free to share that.
Well, thank you. Well, let's see. For anyone that's looking a free consultation, I'm giving away a free ebook, which is how to transition into a plant-based diet. People think that they immediately need to go just drop everything, and that sets them up for failure. So I take them through steps to help them transition and be able to maintain. So I'm giving away that ebook for free. I'm also going to start a boot camp in May, and I offer three verticals plus the yoga. And the vertical is established, which is the fitness and health. It is nourish, which is your plant-based nutrition, and it is replenish, which is your meditation, your mindfulness, and your wellness. So as you sign up for the boot camp, which will be offered in May, you will get an opportunity for 12 weeks to sample 4 weeks of each of the verticals. And if you do sign up, then I will give the yoga as a cherry on top.
Oh, I love that. How
Thank
generous. That's
you.
wonderful.
And
Yeah, so
people,
flourishwithtracy.com, right?
yes, and I was going to say you can also find me not only through the website, and you can book for the free consultation through the website, but I also have Instagram, which is at Flourish with Tracy. I have Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So I'm and Facebook. I'm trying to
Wonderful.
be
Yeah.
everywhere.
Absolutely, it's important, and that's what's brilliant about these times. We get to be connected, and as you and I haven't ever met in person, that's what's wonderful about all of these technologies that we've been able to create and develop. I know certain people, we can all have in our point of view. Fire can keep you alive if you're cold, or it can burn you, right? So it's like there's
True.
different ways that the elements of all nature and life can support us. Like water, we need it to survive, and you could also drown in water, right? So there's this contrast. And that's the thing about technology. When we're using it for life enhancing purposes, which is how we met, of sharing information, education, I feel it's really powerful. And so I'm taking a look here at your Instagram, Flourish with Tracy. And wow, I love talking about education. How right here you have your 4 reasons to start a plant-based diet, improve your health. And I love how you're keeping people, manage your weight, prevent illness. It's environmentally friendly. Fantastic. And then, of course, you're practicing yoga and showing people, inspiring people. And looks like one of your clients has
Yes.
had amazing success. Wow. I
Yes.
love before and after. I think you've seen my before and after photo too, right? It's really extraordinary what you can do when you feel your body properly and can really align with, it's about releasing, and it's about putting in the good stuff, right?
Yes, and
Like,
you have to do the work, and that's the
absolutely.
piece. That's the piece. So putting in the work, but you will benefit. You will become the change that you seek. But
Hmm.
within being respectful of time. That's the other piece.
Hmm. Yeah, and timelines are what's important. You have to create some urgency in your life to get results. Because if not,
Correct.
I call it the someday syndrome. Someday I'll do that one thing I thought about or talked about. And when you're actually doing it, like you, looks like you're running quite a lot of races. That's amazing. What's
Well,
your favorite?
that
Like 5Ks,
yes,
marathons, half
actually,
marathons?
obstacle races.
Oh, I love
So
those too.
the purpose of this post was to help people realize that you can recover and you can still reach your goals. I used to love to run, but I had injured myself, and then as I got older, I thought that I couldn't do that anymore. But through daily practice of yoga, eating properly, I was able to restore and regain. And because of that, all of these races happened after surgery.
Hmm.
And so I love to run. I love the obstacle races are really, really funny. And then I also want to show people that as you get older, you can continue to be healthy. You can
Hmm.
continue to do the things that you did when you were younger.
Absolutely. Looks like you're featured on a podcast here. That's wonderful.
Yes, yes. That you
Fantastic.
talk about being international. That particular friend is from South Africa.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, that's the global connection that we get to have. It's so powerful.
Yes, and
And some
that's one of my before and afters. And
oh,
there's another client.
let's check this out. Amazing. So inspirational. I love it.
Yes.
All right,
And
here comes mine. Boom.
see, there you go.
Yeah, I lost like 60 pounds and just totally have a brand new chapter in my life. And that was around the time we connected. And that's really
It
powerful.
was. It was. And I think I was tracking right behind you. I lost about between 50 and 55. I was right in that range as well.
Oh, wonderful. And then it looks like you have some nutrition, inspirational tips, as well as ways to be inspired with your practice and video content. So, yeah,
Yes.
anyone out there that is on Instagram, which I'm sure it's a lot of you, I think there's like 500 million people on Instagram. So here it is. You can, schedule a call. You can book with Tracy at any time. And I know that you can absolutely find a pathway with, even if you start out with the nutritional coaching from Tracy, that's a great start. If you start off with needing some support with your yoga practice at the beginning, whichever you do first, or you do a hybrid, I know that you, Tracy, will offer whatever support that people need out there to flourish. And that's why your brand and your company is Flourish with Tracy. So you have any parting words or any advice or anything you'd like to share before we leave?
Yes. Just remember that you can be whatever you wish to be. You just need to be respectful of yourself. You never have to do it alone. There's always someone here to help you along your way, but you can be the change that you wish to be. You can be well. You can reverse some dis-ease. You can be whatever you wish to be, and we're here to help you do it.
Mm.
So I think we lost you for a second there, Dave. I think you'll be back in a moment. And while we're waiting for Dave to return, are there any questions? I can't see the chat, but I'm sure Dave will be able to capture them for you.
Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for your light, for who you are in the world, for who you get to be in this moment, who you get to become for the next moment and the next now, and especially with all of the content that you're sharing, inspiring people with, and how wonderful we get to hang out for another decade and beyond, and maybe you'll come down to Costa Rica and visit.
I would love to do that. That would be amazing. And we can eat that jackfruit that's
Yes,
outside.
fresh jackfruit. I'm all for it. I love it. Yeah, and that's what I love is having nutritious and delicious foods is what has been the biggest paradigm shift for me and so many people that have been on this pathway like you and I have, where you get to have your taste buds do backflips and you're like, wow, that tastes amazing. I'm having like fresh papaya and wow, I have a mango. And there's so many ways that we can eat, delicious and nutritious foods, and that's what it comes down to.
I call that's the real fast food. Real fast
Yeah,
food is going outside, picking it off the tree, and just eating it. That's fast food.
absolutely. I love that. And that's completely what I've actually been able to do here is, and it's easier, historically we've been more, gatherers than hunters. It's easier to just plant. Actually, I live on an eco village right now, and there's a whole permaculture set up, and we get a basket every week, and we have fresh kale, and we have all of the goodness from the land, and you just feel it, you taste it. There's some vibrancy and energy around it that I wouldn't have experienced if I would have stayed on that, standard American diet, which most people know it stands for SAD, SAD.
Yes, I wrote a blog about that. So
Oh yes,
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 and I wrote sad versus glad. So glad, I just coined the term and I made it up. So instead
nice.
of sad, glad, which is growing, living alternative diet instead of the sad
Mm.
diet.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yes,
perfect. Yeah,
yes.
and this is a time to be alive where we can truly have more choices than ever, and it's wonderful. You don't have to eat only the recipes that your grandparents cook for you, your family cook for you.
Correct.
Most people
Correct.
watching this, I'm sure they're an adult. You can choose your own path, you know. Of course, if your kid's watching this right now, you know, it's ask for the good stuff, you know, get back to basics. And that's what our birthright is in order to flourish. So,
So,
yes.
yes, in order to flourish. And so, when you flourish, I also teach you how to kiss yourself every day. Give yourself a kiss. Kisses, keep it short and simple. So, how you can take 5 ingredients or less to create a meal in small minutes, within 5 to 15 minutes or less. So, I'll teach you how to kiss yourself too as you flourish.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and that's the empowerment part, right? Like you get to have self love and be a caretaker of your temple and recognize that when you put in the good stuff, it's like getting an oil change, you know, you get rid of the old
That's
stuff.
what's going to come out.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one of my pathways too, just flushing it out and saying, okay, in with the new and that vibrancy and that level. And, you know, having people ask me like, wow, how did you do this? Or what did you do to, and your before and after clients that you are able to share on Instagram and on your website and everywhere, those testimonials, proof's in the pudding right there. You
Yeah.
can't, you know, argue with that. And you and I've experienced it. I think the old paradigm was, I think, therefore I am. I think the
Yes.
transformative way of living in the 21st century is I experience, therefore I am. So that's my invitation to anyone watching or listening right now is in order to flourish with Tracy, go to the website, book a free consultation, and you get to experience vibrancy and vitality and replenish your body in so many ways, because at the end of all of this, we're responsible for our own health and wellness. No matter what is going on, no matter what billboard you're seeing or whatever society wants you to eat or whatever's convenient, you know, you get to change the channel and say, well, actually it's convenient for me, as what you said, to have the fast, grab an apple, boom, there's my fast food, you know, and it's right there in front of us. So thank you so much.
Thank
And
you,
I
Dave.
will absolutely keep watching you on Instagram and Facebook and keeping our connection vibrant as it always has been. And wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Dave.
Uh,
Namaste.
namaste.